Hi, this is Pastor J.D. Marie with End Time Prophecies. I hope that God will bless you as you watch. Thank you.
That would affect the sun, the moon, the stars. Now, all these things are connected if you follow with me. What made this so revealing about Revelation chapter 6, verse 12, me and my wife lie up on her bed at night. She usually opens the Bible and she reads, and she said, where's that scripture about in Revelations about the earthquake, the sun and the moon and stars? I said, Revelation 6 and 12. And God said, bingo. So that was confirming me that was where that God was directing me. God works in mysterious ways. And Matthew 24:29, Jesus said immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun would be darkened and the moon should not give her light. These all are relevant. 2 Peter 3 and 10 said, the day of the Lord would come as a thief in the night, that the heavens would pass away with a great noise, and the elements would melt, including the earth, and all the works therein shall be burned up. Isaiah saw the vision in Isaiah 34 of God destroying his enemy and all of the hosts of heaven being dissolved. Can the vision of the bronze elephants be the opening of the sixth seal? God also brought to my remembrance a dream in 2009 that the weather would take a very drastic turn, that snowstorms would drop record level snow and fall in places like never before. This was the beginning of abnormal weather. Weather conditions change rapidly. Tornadoes, earthquake in Japan moving the earth off its axis, and the heat wave and the drought temperatures soaring record-breaking temperatures throughout in places like New York and snow in Florida. The weather just was in a turmoil. And severe weather conditions throughout the land, floods in places that floods were not witnessed before. I mean, destroying crops, destroying homes. And not only the food supplies rose to all-time high, the people that manufactured the food and supplies couldn't get it, so everybody's hurt. When the economy goes, everything goes. So I think God is trying to tell us something here. On August 2009, now listen to this. The news came out that Syria was drying up and experiencing an economic holocaust. The whole country is drying up, and up to no less than 250,000 farmers were forced in the past 3 years to abandon their land and migrate to inner cities. 250,000 farmers had to shut down because of no water. They lived in tents, completely neglected by the regime. These farmers appeared in a special study by United Post. And Syria is drying up, it said, August 9, 2009. In 2011, August 2009, August 11th, there was something come out, said Syria, in this United Syria Post, posted that Syria is experiencing an economic holocaust. There is no other way to describe what the Syrian regime is so much trying to hide. Now, here's what's happening. The country is drying up. People having to leave. They're leaving in tents. The immense Euphrates River is a main source of water supply for Syria. This was published in the United Nations on the Arabia website. You could find this. Okay, now the Turks are stopping its water in their territory so that Syria and Iraq are receiving a declining portion of water, and they are saying within the next 10 years the river of Euphrates would be completely dry. Today already it reaches Syria with contaminated water, leaves with contaminated water, and their fish is dying. This is a force of their livelihood becoming extinct. As a result of the drought that had been plaguing Syria for several years now, another important Syrian water source, the Asea Orontes River, is drying up as well. the water's becoming saltier and increasing contamination, and its fish is dying, like we said, and without fish there's no livelihood. Entire villages are fed by the waters for hundreds of years are simply being deserted. Groundwater in the country reaching its lowest level. The longest possible, drought is taking place now in this country. There are wells being dug illegally to try to bring water to the residents. You know, if there's no water, there's no agriculture. But let's skip on down. The people that are leaving leaving Syria and leaving around where the great river Euphrates is, they are Kurds. This causes an ethnic problem. This is why they're being neglected in the daily regime of the Syrian, because the Kurdish refugees accuse the regime of not helping them. Why? Because the ethnic cleansing situation. We've seen what that did to the Kurds. So in Revelation 16:12, the sixth seal, when it was open, it poured out his bowl, the scripture said, on the great rivers Euphrates, and the water was being dried up, that the ways of the kings of the north would be, the kings from the east could come and fall upon Israel and the Holy Land. Now, if we look at this, we look at what this is happening. It's bringing forth what we call more genocide, the killing, the merciless killing of the Kurds and many people that are going to the inner cities. Could this be the fourth seal? Over the fourth part of the earth was killed by sword and hunger. Not to mention other countries that are in famine and in drought. People dying for the lack of food and potable water. And we'd like to throw this in. There's 34 states in the United States of America that children are going hungry now. Revelation 16:12 says, the sixth angel sounded, poured out his veil upon the great river Euphrates, and the water there was dried up. So they're saying that the river Euphrates has been drying up for 3 years. It's going to take 10 years for it to dry up. Well, that leaves us 7 years for it to dry up. Could this be the moving of God's hand? We're looking for the great earthquake. We're looking for all these things to happen, to bring such disaster. But I believe God is working now. I believe the three elephants are the seven seals, the seven trumpets, and the seven plagues. I believe the riders are the three woes that are fixing to hit our earth. The seven seals, Revelation 6:12, the earth was open, and there was a great earthquake. The sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. Seven trumpets, Revelations 9:12, the fifth angel sounded, and the smoke was so dark, the sun of the air was darkened by it. We look at all these things that are related to one another. These seals are being opened. We're looking for, today, tomorrow, this is going to happen. But now I'm going to say, that these trumpets and these seals and these plagues, we see some of these things that already we talked about, the black horse that brought the famine. There's famine in our land throughout the whole world. Children are dying hungry. People are dying thirsty. People are being killed with the swords. The terrorist act is rising. And we see that innocent people are dying because, why? Because we're entering into the last days. These seven trumpets, seven plagues, and seven seals must be done. And I believe when God showed these elephants coming out of the north with their fury, and we see what's happening, these few things, and I could go into more things that has happened in our day to show that something is taking place. We are approaching the days of tribulation. If we look at the river taking 10 years to dry up, it started 3 years ago. That's a Bible prophecy, that it would dry up. It's drying up, people. The Euphrates River, quote, again, is drying up now. It hasn't started. It's already in 3 years. into its flow stopping. That's a specific prophecy that that river would dry up when the angel came down, when the sixth seal was opened, and dry that river up. So where are we today? Wake up. Don't wait for California to fall off in the ocean. Don't wait for all these things to happen to make you wake up. Where are we? I'm saying that we are on the edge of the beginning of the tribulation, which will go on for a period of time. Then the Antichrist will be set up, and he's got 3.5 years to do his damage. And there's 3.5 years going to be of tribulation. And don't let the devil say that you're a Christian, you're not going to go through any tribulation. There are people going to die and give their lives for God, because those that were under the altar cried, "How long, O God, before you avenge our blood upon the inhabitants of the earth?" White robes were given then, said, "Wait for a little season, because thy fellow servants, your brothers and fellow servants, they're going to have to die also and come up like you did. Wait, rest for a little while." So what I'm saying, to wrap this up in these words, behold, I come quickly. And Jesus Christ has given us so many signs in the Scripture showing where we are. We are not in the last days. We're in the end of time. We are in the end of time, approaching the tribulation period. There's been a lot of controversy and a lot of studies on the 10 lost tribes of Israel. And where are they, and will they ever return? Well, we'd like to talk about that just for a few minutes. We realize that they're out there, and God will bring them back. So in 2010, God gave me a vision concerning the return of Ephraim and the 10 lost tribes of Israel. In this vision, I was in a land where I'd never been before. I was searching for my family, and as I came upon a place where they dwelt in tents, and I entered in one of the tents, and there were 2 men. They were dressed in Eastern-style clothing, a fashion like the children of Israel dressed back in the Bible days, and some still in the present day. They had on headdresses that made me know that they were the children of Israel. And they were talking, and I could not hear the conversation, so I moved up closer, and I began to listen to what was being said. The man that seemed to be the occupant of the tent was facing me, and the other seemed like a visitor with his back toward me. And they reached out their hands one toward another, and in their hand they had a small sword. And as they locked their swords together in this manner, this is what I heard the man facing me say. He said, "Ephraim, my friend." And the one with his back toward me said, "Judah, my brother." Very powerful. So I began to pray and say, God, what can this mean? I know that Ephraim and Judah has been enemies for a long time. Judah was jealous of Ephraim, and Ephraim vexed Judah, and vice versa. Since the separation of the 2 kingdoms, there was always trouble. But let's go into it just a little deeper and find out where Ephraim came from and why Ephraim became such a important part of God's plan for the redemption of Israel.
I hope you're being blessed by the message of this end-time prophecy. This is all the time we have for this YouTube segment. But I hope you will watch the rest of our segments, that you too can be aware that the end of time is closer than what we think.